So one of our real strong suits, one of the things we excel in, and it's really untypical for the typical general contractor, because we are by trade a design-build general contractor, is everything and anything that has to do with building compliance, building violations, retroactively permitting existing building modifications, and most importantly is bringing buildings, homes, ADUs up to code and into compliance. So we really excel in that. The way it works realistically is we have to come out. It's not something we could do blindly. It's not something we do over the phone. That's why our initial consultation on site is always free. We got several different field supervisors. They come by with their experience and knowledge. They'll look at the structure, they'll look at what's there, and basically provide an explanation of what it's going to take. Generally speaking, it's a two-step process, an administrative step and a constructural step. The administrative step, we draw plans, usually as close as possible to as-built, so there'll be minimal changes later. We get these plans through the city and we obtain permits. Just to clarify, these permits are not permits to have what you already have, but it's permits to build it. Once we obtain these permits, we transition over to the constructional stage and start setting up inspections. In many cases, we can tell you right up front, this is gonna go, that's not gonna go, this is gonna pass, this is not gonna pass, and kind of prep you to what's to come. In some cases, the construction is so well done, or in other words, everything is so pretty, it doesn't mean that it's structurally sound, but it looks good, right? And people love it. But realistically, we can tell, hey, you know, the ceiling's too low, the window's too small, there's no egress, the plumbing, the electrical, the sewer connection is in the wrong place, whatever the case is. But we'll set up inspections, or what we call a pre-inspection, where an inspector will come out, and this is the first time the city will realize that, hey, this is already built. He'll come out, he'll point out a few areas, ask us to expose them, whether if it's full demolition, cutting out drywall, digging up the foundation, and then based on what's there, is we know how to proceed. We know how expensive this is going to become. We have done that for room additions, second story additions, general remodels on the inside where you have a flipper, and I know all of you have dealt with it. Somebody puts out a house for sale, they flipped it, completely renovated everything from the inside, and the only permit they got is to change a vanity in the bathroom. I see that literally twice a week. New homeowners come in, they love what they see, but hey, you know, what are we getting ourselves into, right? I've seen houses where they had beams cut halfway through with no proper support. And again, on the surface, everything's pretty. Inside the structure, big problems. We literally had a house literally tip over its foundation because it was sitting on blocks. Whoever renovated it at whatever point didn't even bother putting anchor bolts connecting the actual box into the foundation it sits on. So you walk around enough, you see almost everything. You call us, we come out, even if it's during escrow, by the way. We come out, we take a look, we give you a solid report, usually anywhere from 6 to 10 pages. Now, just to clarify, this is not a home inspection that you need during escrow anyway. What we come out to look at is the integrity of the building. It's the compliance of the building, and it's to assess what it's going to take to get it fully up to code, legalized and permitted with a fresh certificate of occupancy. Report will usually include pictures of what we see, what the concerns are, and what the recommendations would be, along with timelines to accomplish it and projected budget. Buyers usually would be the one calling in for an escrow inspection. We do have an inspection fee that later gets credited towards us doing the work anyway. But honestly, their biggest objective is to do better negotiation, because hey, this is what it's going to cost to correct the issues that are kind of bundled in with this home purchase. We call these pre-purchase inspections if you have an open escrow yet and you want to figure out if you even want to, or escrow inspections during your inspection time frame, just to help with negotiations or, again, certainty of the decision to purchase. With building compliance and the unpermitted stuff that we do, particularly about ADUs, unpermitted garage conversions, I've had quite a few just brand new structures somebody built in the back with not a single permit, which is ludicrous to me, but it is what it is. We help correct those. We've had ones that were built too close to the property line, ones that were built too close to another structure on the property. I'm sure you know, in the city of LA, the exit corridor, the spacing between structures on the same property is usually a minimum of 10 feet. Any structure that was built with permits, regardless for what purpose, a garage, a barn, is less than 5 foot or even directly on the property line, it can be grandfathered in. There might be some modifications to that wall. You cannot have windows on it for privacy to the neighbor. It has to be fireproofed and soundproof, but nonetheless, it can stay in its position. Ones that were extended into the setback will have to get trimmed back into the permitted footprint. Same goes with spacing between structures. If the garage is 5 foot away from the home, 6 foot away from the home, it can still be converted. Now, with building compliance, we get into unpermitted retaining walls, almost anything you could think of. I get calls, about unpermitted storage sheds, which in a lot of cases, I'll spend 5, 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes on the phone with the homeowner, tell them what they need to do or can do to really minimize the overall cost and the overall expenditure they have on fixing things. I could tell you that probably half of the calls I tell them they don't really need us. They'll get advice, we'll point them in the right direction, whether if it's to obtain express permits online or to modify the structure minimally to keep it within code. A lot of things that we can do online with avoiding asking for, for money, we will, gladly.